Hey guys, happy Sunday. I hope you have had a really nice weekend. It's beautiful out. I'm actually sitting outside in my backyard. I've instructed my children to be quiet so I can talk a little bit about emotional eating. It's not the whole gambit. I will go into depth a little bit more throughout the summer, but I'm just going to touch on it a little bit today and talk a little bit about food addiction.
Hi, Mama.
Hi, Brady. And going to give you a little bit of some statistics that I'm sure you already know, but statistics say that 70% of adults are overweight or obese, and the rates of children with those, being considered overweight is increasing. So the things that we're doing now, it's not just about us. It's about changing mindset and just like what we're bringing into our home of our children. So this is really important stuff. This isn't about vanity or anything along those lines. It's about our health. And so this is a real epidemic that's been going on. If you look back into like the 1950s and you look and see kind of what the body stature was compared to what it is of the average American. I'm not talking about the people you see on People magazine or any fitness magazines or anything like that, or what the ideal person is. Those are definitely underweight, not really accurate as to what the average American looks like. And again, it's not about looks, it's about the health piece of it. So, and one thing to kind of keep in mind is back in the 1950s, 1960s even, you guys already know this, but food generally was cooked at home. There were no fast food restaurants until the mid 50s. They're, kind of like what they call TV dinner. We don't really do TV dinners anymore, but we have the microwave. We've got all sorts of ways to have a quick dinner. And generally, those quick dinners are very processed, full of salt and sugar, really nothing healthy or full of any nutrient density. So when you think about that, it really has played a huge role in what's going on with us now. And here's the other side effect that people don't realize. Okay, that quick factor, that's awesome, but often with what's quick is a lot of processed food. When you look at processed food, we're talking about food that is designed by scientists, etc., to be addictive. And the reason that is, oh, welcome, I see someone coming on. The reason why I say that processed food is addictive is, I mean, it's a business. Let's be real. The food industry is a business. Hi, everyone. And people are out to make money. And sugar has the same addictive qualities as many hard drugs. And so that's really important to know. And I'm not saying sugar's bad, because there's sugar in fruit, natural sugars, things like that. And of course, we have sugar now and again in ice cream and whatever. But I'm talking about, when you're looking at your diet as a whole, that sugar has an addictive quality that gives you that dopamine release. And that's why people emotional eat, because whether they like it or not, they get a quick fix. They're getting a quick fix to help raise their emotions, just to make them feel better, for the moment. And what has worked over the past, through the past several years, is grabbing some cookies, grabbing some chips, grabbing something quick that's just going to kind of make you feel good for a moment. And this is and the reason why I'm talking about this is because this is a real problem. And I think people know it, but I really want you to kind of let it settle in that we're being kind of duped in some ways. And again, I'm not saying not to have those things. I love chips now and again. I love cookies. I love all those things. But to recognize that there's a real addictive quality to sugar in the processed food, and that there's people that are developing this that make it so that it's addictive, so that you'll buy it over and over again. So that's important. And sometimes when we're armed with knowledge, it helps us make better choices. And so again, it's not, upheavaling, is that even a word? Totally changing your diet, but when you have that knowledge, it helps you kind of think a little bit more thoroughly when you're, kind of making a decision. So when we're talking about sugar and the things that you buy, think about you know, when you're buying things that are in a box that don't have, you know, a mother or aren't from the ground, basically, Whole Foods, make sure you check the sugar count because some foods are masked as healthy. I'm sure you guys all know orange juice really isn't that healthy. It's about the same level as a soda or a pop. I'm sure you guys already know that, but you know, even sorry, my son's coming out. Make sure the dog doesn't come out. Spaghetti sauce is loaded with sugar. If you buy over-the-counter spaghetti sauce, just be aware of it, you know. And I'm not saying not to eat it, but just be aware of it. What when you're buying something that you think might be relatively healthy, might not be. So just kind of keep that in mind. And think of things that are lower in sugar because what will happen is you can eat more and you're not going to have that addictive like response. You're going to eat until you're satisfied. You're not going to overeat on apples. I mean, I've never heard anyone be like, I can't get enough apples. You know what I mean? Because that's something that's natural for our body. And so just kind of consider those things and think about that. I think just having that knowledge might help you make better decisions. Wow, there's a fast car go by. So here's a funny statistic. It's not really funny, but the average American eats 152 pounds of sugar per year. That is about almost 4 pounds a week, about a half a pound a day. And it's all this hidden sugar we have in all of our foods, which is crazy when you think about. And then it makes me almost think about like, what am I eating? I don't count my sugars, but I'm just kind of aware. But it's an interesting statistic. And you guys are all on this health journey, so I'm certain yours aren't that high because this is an average amongst all Americans. But it's really kind of a scary statistics when you think about it that way. And the kids' sugar intake is much higher than it was even in the 1980s. So when we are making changes, our kids are watching, and they're also eating what you're buying. You know, the thing is, you know, if you don't buy it, you're not going to have it, and that's, you know, you're not going to be likely to go run to the store when you're having a craving. You might do that occasionally, but it's definitely going to diminish it quite a bit if you just don't have it around the house. The kids might not be happy with you, but they'll adapt. And maybe it'll be more of a special occasion when you go get ice cream, or when there's a birthday and you have birthday cake, or maybe you buy 1 bag of chips a week instead of 3 or whatever. You know what I mean? Just kind of adjusting that so that it's more of a treat as opposed to a staple. The other thing that I want to talk about is when you plan your meals also can be really helpful so that you already know, so that you're not in a pinch when you have had a stressful day at work, or you've had a stressful day with your kids, or you've had a stressful day, whatever you're doing, and that you don't grab something in a pinch. You have it pretty much prepared, or at least you have an idea what you're planning on eating. And then also kind of identify those times where you tend to emotional eat or grab things when you're like stressed out. Prepare for that. Have something ready. Maybe that's the time you drink your Shakeology. That can help curb some of those cravings a little bit. But have something, like, be ahead of the game. Have something ready before that stress hits. So kind of notice your patterns when your stress levels are a little bit higher. Have something planned to eat that's going to fulfill you and not make you want to grab something else. Also understand when you're wanting that dopamine hit, that maybe that's the time that you schedule your workout. I don't know. Granted, some of you, your stressful time might be at work and you might not want to work out at that time. But, you know, consider maybe that's the time you take a break at work and go for a walk, or when you get home from work, it's beautiful out, summertime, and you need some time to kind of transition from work to home, go for a loop around your block, take your kids with you if you want. Get the dopamine fix elsewhere. Don't get it from food. You know, so kind of consider and think about some different ways that you can get that increase in dopamine when we're kind of grabbing for the things. But if you do, on the other hand, I want you to recognize if you do have a moment of weakness, don't stress about it. Just, you did it. I mean, we all do it. We all do it. Even the perfect eaters out in the world that we think are perfect eaters do it. Don't let them fool you. I always laugh when I read like People magazine or something when they say, what do you eat on a regular basis? And they tell you this perfect diet. And you're like, really? every day that's what you eat, I just don't buy it. I'm sure that that's what they ideally would like to eat on a good day, but all of us have imperfect diets, and that's totally okay. We just do the best we can each moment. We just try to make good decisions to help progress us towards our goals. Um, so, and I think the other thing to consider is, kind of thinking of food in a different way, considering food to be more of a fuel as opposed to something we enjoy. Of course, we enjoy our food, but consider it as like we're a car, we're adding fuel to our body. We need fuel to be able to do all the things. Of course, we want to enjoy it, but just kind of shifting our mindset about it, that it's something we need and not something we want all the time. It's a necessity for life, but we can meet our other needs, our emotional needs, in lots of different ways. Again, it's being ahead of the game with knowing when your stress levels hit, you know, planning your food out so that you know and you have things to grab. And then also, like I said, maybe arrange your workouts that fit your schedule a little bit differently so that you're getting that rush when maybe you're getting home from work and you're just like, do your workout then if you can. I don't know what your schedules are like. Or maybe your workouts work better in the morning. Usually they're in the morning for me. And then also consider maybe some other supplements to help you with those sugar kind of cravings, especially when you're working through this. If you haven't tried Beach Bars, those are really great. I don't know what the sugar count on those. I will look that up. Beach Bars are really great, quick kind of fix. You know what I do, and I know Energize is not intended for an afternoon fix. It's meant for before workouts, but I use Energize sometimes in the afternoon. It gives me a little kick, makes me feel good. I love the taste of it, so that sometimes works for me as well. Obviously, Shakeology is always a good thing, when you're kind of in that moment of stress or whatever. But sometimes you just want something that you can grab and go. Apples are also really good. I know that doesn't sound like super enticing, but that usually gives me a quick energy boost as well. So just consider those things when you're having that moment where you are feeling overwhelmed or stressed and you just want to grab something. Just be prepared, be ahead of the game, and know that you are worth all the energy you're putting into it. So there's I did it under 15 minutes. I did it in 12 minutes. So there's your 15 minutes of nutrition info for the week. I apologize it wasn't earlier this week. So thank you, Margot and Tess, for hopping on. And
thank you, Sarah.
I recorded this, so I'm going to put this also in the bod group. And so you guys will be able to access it at any time. So have a wonderful Sunday, ladies. Take care.
Bye. Thank you.